Hi, Patricia Walls here. I'm going to be sharing some tools with you that I use in my practice and also in my own personal toolbox for my own self-care. One of them was developed by a man named Gary Douglas from Access Consciousness, and I've mentioned him before, and I've mentioned his work before. So do your research. As I said before, I've never taken his class. I don't have any intentions of taking his class. Um, I got what I needed from the book and from YouTubes that he has, and that's all that I required really. But you may require more. He is a brilliant teacher, and I highly recommend him. What I'm going to share with you is the tool that he shares. Well, knowledge first, and then a tool. So his platform is that I think he says 99% of everything we think and feel doesn't even belong to us, that we are empathing it. And I believe that. I can understand that one. And so in that way, one of the tools that he shares is a little thing called "Who does this belong to?" So I've used that. I've shared it with a lot of people, and I don't know anybody yet that hasn't been amazed at the response. So the first time that I used it for another person, sort of testing it out, um, was my granddaughter, who is now in her 20s, mid to late 20s. And is when she was really young, maybe 12 or 13, I think. And we had gone into an antique store. And all of my children, grandchildren are highly intuitive, connected in, gifted. And we went into the antique store, and we weren't in there, just barely inside the door. And she said, "Grandma, I've got to leave. I have a headache." And it had come on really suddenly. And so I thought, okay, let me try this, right? And so I told her first, before we leave, will you consider doing this? And I make an attempt to never tell anybody what to do. I give them tools. And so I said, will you consider doing this? And she's like, oh, grandma, another grandma thing. So she said, okay. And I said, all I want you to do is just say out loud for me, who does this belong to? Return to sender. And she's like, ugh, rolling her eyes. And finally she said, okay, who does this belong to? Return to sender. And then I saw her eyes get real big. And I was like, worked, didn't it? And she said, yeah, the headache's gone. And so that was good for me because I could see it live, for another person, because we sometimes don't believe that we experience what we experience. So we need to see it in another person. And so, and I've seen it many other times as well. So you'd have to look at his work to really understand the tool. I'm not going to try to give you a teaching on it. It's not my place. It's not my modality. I'm just sharing what I know. And so I use it when I get an odd pain or an odd thought. I use it. I will say, who does this belong to? Return to sender. And I can share this much, that Gary Douglas teaches about working with the universe, and that the universe listens, and that I think his entire platform is based on the question. So, and that whenever you ask the universe a question, the universe starts looking for an answer. And so whenever you say, who does this belong to? The universe goes, oh, wait, not you. And it And so the second part of the statement is return to sender. Now, I had problems with that, and a lot of people that I talk to have problems with the whole return to sender thing because everybody has the do no harm rule, right? And so they don't want to send back negative energy. I asked my beings about this. What is this about? Help me understand it. Why should I use it? And and I always encourage people to do the same. Question. Never take anything that anybody says and just use it without using your discernment. So anyway, I asked the beings to explain it to me, and was it something I should be doing? And the beings told me to think of it as this: whenever someone and people are always sending you energy 24/7. People are sending you cords and hooks and energy, whether it's love. I mean, love can be a cord or a hook. And I talk about all of this in my book, Feeding the Wolf Within, Cords and Hooks. I'm available on Amazon. I don't talk about Gary Douglas's modality, but I talk about cords and hooks, or I might mention him, but I do give him credit. Anyway, so the beings reminded me that people are always sending us energy, and sometimes the energy takes the forms of cords and hooks. And whenever they do that, they are sending a part of themselves, right? When someone sends you energy, they're sending a part of themselves. I know that for sure. And so whenever I say return to sender, I'm returning that part of them that has split off, consciously or unconsciously. I'm returning a part of them that's required for their wholeness. And so I no longer feel bad about returning energy. I return energy all the time, and I feel good about it because I'm not doing it with anger or resentment. I'm doing it because I want people to be whole. So, anyway, check it out. Use that if it works for you. Who does this belong to? Return to sender. And you don't ask, who does it belong to, waiting for the answer. There is no answer. Don't look for the answer. It's one fluid statement. It's not a question and then another statement. It's one fluid statement. Who does this belong to? Return to sender. So try it. See if it works. Leave me a message. And check back because I'm going to be sharing more tools and techniques that I use every day.